Welcome back, everyone. Sunday evening, and it's absolutely pouring down with rain here in Brighton. I mean, proper pouring down. Wet, windy, but we are here to entertain you for another hour at least this evening. Joining me tonight, it is the one and only Richard Inman. He's out there in Northern Ireland looking like an Eskimo. Is it cold, Richard, in Northern Ireland?
It's absolutely Baltic. I was going to say something else there, but I thought, this is before the watershed or just after the watershed, so I'm not going to say what it really is. It's very cold here in Northern Ireland at the moment.
And a complete contrast, we have Danny in Spain, who was half naked a minute ago because he's boiling hot.
I thought it was another reason.
I've just got to turn the old fan up a little bit, mate.
That's it. Get the air conditioning on. And we have a special guest tonight. A very warm welcome for his debut on the show, and that is Andy, the Gabby Cabby. How you doing, Andy?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Paul. Yeah, I'm fine. Bloody freezing.
Lovely to meet you, mate. Has she chucked you out in the garage, Andy?
Yeah. She can't stand me sitting in the corner of the living room chatting for an hour or so she slings me out here.
Mind you, to be fair, it's not too bad. My missus can't stand me full stop, so I mean, at least
we're all in that situation, Paul.
Yeah, Richard,
speak for yourselves. Sophie's watching.
Yeah, Sophie. If she's Sophie, for anyone that doesn't know, Sophie is the glamorous half of Danny's partnership.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying you're punching, Dan.
She's punching and she knows it.
Oh, dear. Right, boys, good evening. Lovely to see you all. Good evening to everyone coming in. I can see you all pouring in. Over 1,000 people already in the room. Absolutely brilliant. Stuart is eating a hot sausage roll. He's getting ready for the night. And, I saw another message from Stuart there giving me a bit of grief about my accent. Was it Stuart? I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Paul G says, welcome to the channel, Andy. We're going to start with you, Andy, actually. First time on the show. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, mate. I mean, the big question I always have for everyone, really, is what made you come out, as it were? I mean, coming out, can we use that expression this week?
Probably not, Paul. Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else might by next Tuesday comes on. You never know.
Yeah, you never know, dear. What made you
out on Tuesday?
What made you stick your head above the parapet, Andy?
4 years ago, I run an airport transfer business. Very, very busy all the time. 4 years ago, there was this bloke called Boris who's always in dire need of a haircut. Appeared on my television, turned around and said, "Stay at home, protect the NHS, and save lives." And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. And I sat there and thought, "Okay, what am I going to do now?" So then I started coming out to this garage, and with my phone, and started talking to it. You know, I had an opinion. And my wife kind of says, "Shut up, go away." So I came out here and started making videos, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew. And I've always been opinionated about politics and what's going on in the country and everything else. And the more the subscribers grew and the more the platform grew, I thought I could do something with this. So there I am. If I've got something to say or an opinion on a news article, or I think, pardon my French, is bullshit we're being told, I come out and say it. That's why I stuck my head above the parapet, really.
And how have you found it? I mean, what has it changed your life in any way?
Yeah, I've started getting people coming up to me in the street saying hello, thank you very much. There's been about 2 or 3 in the last week, including a lady that works at my local chemist. Oh my God! And I've been able to help some people behind the scenes. I don't brag about it and boast about it. You just don't. Just privately, we've been able to do that. Lifestyle wise for the family, as you said in the video earlier today, you earn an extra few quid doing this if you're lucky, and that's certainly helped. But the most important thing is I'm a normal bloke like all 3 of you, and there's a message to get out there and trying to tell people, don't believe everything you're being told on the telly. There's more to this than meets the eye. Just step back and think about it. And we've got a platform where we can do that. And it makes me feel good. It really makes me feel good.
I think before we go any further, I've got to say that we're not all normal. I mean, Richard is a long way from being.
Oh,
That's why I'm in the garage.
I lost normal a long time ago, Paul. A long time ago. Who want to be normal? What is normal? Listen, if anybody ever says to you, "I'm normal," run a million miles in the opposite direction, because that's the scariest person in the room, right?
I think, yeah, I agree, Andy. I mean, I think I like to. I mean, I've been watching more and more people bring all of you into this. I've been watching more and more people stepping out, putting their best foot forward, opening their mouths at last. And I think it's vital that we do that as a nation.
I agree. I mean, the other thing as well, it's like you look at the news for the last week, and this bothers me slightly. We hear about 30 grand's worth of clothes. We hear about maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Rosie Duffield has come out and done what she's done in the last 24 hours or so. I think she's bloody brave doing that, personally. And you get saturated in the mainstream with all this stuff, and you think, what else is there? What aren't we being told?
Well, don't we know? Yeah. So on that note of Rosie Duffield, I think we'll get started there, guys. I mean, look, she's the or was the Labour MP for Canterbury. She's left the she's left the party after listing a host of damning reasons why she's already lost all faith in Keir Starmer, labelling some of his policies as stupid, cruel and heartless. She also criticised Starmer's lack of basic politics and his lack of honesty in disclosing gifts, calling it a scandalous way to behave. She pointed out that he looks cross when people question him, and I've noticed that. She said, this looks really weird.
Yep.
And she said it's not the Labour Party that she signed up to represent. Well, I don't think this is a Labour Party that anyone necessarily recognises from their past when they were growing up. But Richard, what's your first reaction on to with Rosie Duffield resigning?
As you know, I'm no fan of the Labour Party at all, and I don't really pay much attention to their inner machinations and problems. I mean, it depends on what direction she's coming from. I mean, the problem you've got with the Labour Party, you've either got far left, hard left, or really hard left, and that's the issue. And if she's resigned because Keir Starmer's not left-wing enough, then that's obviously a problem. If she's resigned on a matter of pure principle because he's a wrong un and he's been a total hypocrite, he's taking money and all sorts of stuff that he said he wouldn't do, or we believe he said he wouldn't do, then that's another issue. But I think there's a fundamental problem with the Labour Party anyway. They're totally bought into everything that's set up to destroy the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Now, and people say, well, the Labour Party is just the same as the Tory Party. The Tory Party are bad, right? We know that. They're corrupt. They're not interested in people like us. They treat us like children. They talk to us about like we're children. But the Labour Party are dangerous, and that's the difference. And what we've seen since Keir came to power. We'll find out on Tuesday. Keir and his relationship with Lord Ali is bizarre in the extreme. I don't think my wife would be happy if I was spending a lot of time with another gentleman. But and I think with what he's done since he's come into power and the way he's managed to alienate not just us on the right, but the left as well. Yeah. I mean, the people on the left despise him. Yeah. So, he's
not a popular man, is he?
He's not a popular man. I think it's going to get worse for him. I think it's going to get a lot worse for him as time goes on. So,
Danny, I mean, like this MP, look, she's resigned from the Labour Party, but she's not resigned her seat, so there'll be no by-election.
And also, Paul, she's left it open saying that she could return in the future, hasn't she?
Yes,
that's how she's walked away. So, if they change their policies, etc., then she's interested in coming back. But that's a dig at Starmer then, surely. Completely Starmer, not
absolutely,
Labour.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, Andy, you were saying this is a brave decision. I would actually counter that and say, do you know what? I think she's done this for herself in many respects because she's not going to put the seat up for grabs. You know, I mean, I'd have a lot more respect for her if she said, "Well, look, let's go back to the public and let's do it all over again." I'd prefer to see that, because then we can get Richard up there standing for whoever he wants to stand for. I'm not sure where he stands from 1 minute to the next. Go on, mate. Go on, Andy.
I'm very much of the view. I mean, I say brave decision. You know, she's been a Labour MP since 2017. She's gone through it all, quite well known, and she knew she was going to get a hell of a kicking off the others, which I believe is starting to happen.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'm very much a believer in that. When you vote for an MP or vote for a prospective parliamentary candidate, you are voting for them based on the policies of the party they represent. Now, if she's no longer a Labour MP and you get all these people in Canterbury voting Labour and she's an independent, who did they vote for? Did they vote for Rosie Duffield, or did they vote for the representative she was for the Labour Party? So should there be a by-election? And like you said, did she do this for her own career? She thought, hang on a minute, this is trouble here. I need to get away from this. Or did she do it on a point of principle? I've not quite made my mind up on that yet, to be honest.
Yeah. Maureen's saying there's an echo tonight. Is anyone else getting any echoes? All the audio seems good to me.
I can't hear anything.
No,
I can't hear anything. Si, thank you very much. Good evening, Si. Stuart is a new member. Thank you so much for that. Killer Krieg's man, smashing the channel. Thanks for carrying on. Oh, do you know what? My move to Spain, Danny, this is an exclusive. But at the moment, it's all off at the moment. There's a big problem with the property we were buying, so we're back to square one.
Is that all off at the moment?
Pardon me?
That's all off at the moment, is it?
That's all off at the moment, mate. I'll explain tomorrow. My dear friend from the United States, Ali Risa, thank you, Ali. Earmarked for the fund for restoring Richard to normal. Can we start with his beverage? He is drinking water right now. Disaster.
Vodka.
Is it vodka, mate?
No, it's not.
Me too.
BCT, thank you so much. The government must get rid of it. Was a setup. Hey, Andy, good to see you.
Hi, Bridge.
Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for that. I mean, look, I think there should be a by-election. I'd love there to be a by-election because it'll be very interesting. I mean, she's got some majority there, to be fair. It would take a big old swing. But I think the mood of the nation right now is, I think Labour would get a good hiding. The trouble is the vote is split. Again, will be split between the Conservatives and Reform. Reform will obviously more of the Conservative vote. They might pick up some of the Labour vote, but whether it will be enough to actually win the seat or not is debatable.
According to the Daily Express today, Paul, they're scrapping the pay per mile thing that they've been threatening to do, the 15p a mile thing.
Well, that's good.
According to the Daily Express, whether you can believe that or not, it's a different matter, and who knows until we get to the actual budget. But yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that's good. That is, if you want to see a picture of Rosie there she is. Not really else much to say there, to be fair. But, well, I'll tell you what, something else I want to get on the topic of. Someone who I respect immensely, and I've been saying for a long time that I respect him immensely, and here's the reason why I respect this man immensely. Watch this.
Whenever you're on with us, Ben, a lot of people are asking, are you going to be standing, in a Reform seat? Should there be a by-election? I hope you don't mind me asking this on air, but where does the land lie there?
Well, it depends on what happens over the next few weeks and months, I think. Reform is going through a process of democratisation, professionalising, creating branch structures, etc. So I think there's a lot of groundwork that's being done with Reform, and I would need to see where it emerges. People would have seen I'm not entirely happy with the Constitution. I don't think it's a document that particularly works. But, that's in the concept. The document is merely words on a paper at the moment. Let's see how it works in practice. Let's see if Reform can stay true. The key for me is that Reform stays true to its ideology and stays true to the people whom it is motivated to vote for it. and all those other millions of people who would have voted for it had they not been told that they'd be splitting the right-wing vote and all that kind of thing.
And I was just going to add into that, Ben. I mean, I know there's a lot of debate, although Reform UK might say there is no debate, but the sort of Tommy Robinson, Katie Hopkins contingent of people who are essentially have been told they're not welcome into Reform. Now, that's an interesting position. There might be lots of people who would welcome that and say that will take Reform into a completely inappropriate direction. What's your response to that?
Well, my response to that is that I don't know Tommy Robinson or Katie Hopkins. Is it Hopkins? Katie Hopkins, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know her. I find her very amusing. I do watch some of her videos. They do make me laugh. But I don't know them. I'm certainly, therefore, not going to judge either of them. In the absence of knowing someone, I've been in politics for long enough to know that no matter what views you hold, they can be misrepresented and put in a way that discredit you. I mean, for example, people actually think that I wish to drown people in the Channel. I don't. That was the result of a hypothetical discussion that's been taken completely out of context. So I'm not throwing...
So there you go. There's Ben Habib doing the right thing. And I don't really need to tell anyone why he's doing the right thing. But that was him doing the right thing. We know what it was, right, Richard? We know what it was.
Yeah, totally. And I think it really highlights a big issue for me, and that's the issue of what I see as basically bullying. And when you look at what's happening with, certain, I'm not going to start mentioning parties, but the way Tommy's been treated by the state, by the media, et cetera, is tantamount to being bullied by the state. And the same with Katie. And I know Tommy very well, and I've met Katie Hopkins, and she's we both met her, Paul. She's a very, very nice lady, really charming. Not what she's portrayed to be in the media. What the media has done is bully people. And I think, it's one thing I find absolutely insidious, and I hate bullies. And if I see it in our movement, if I see bullies in our movement, I call it out. And from time to time it's happened, and it has to be called out when it happens, right? And it's exactly the same with if Reformer, in what I consider bullying Tommy and Katie by excluding them for no other reason than who they are, I think it needs to be called out as bullying and cowardice. And well done, Ben. And I think I would love to see Ben as Prime Minister. I'll be brutally honest with you, Paul. I've watched him for a long time now. I saw what he did in Northern Ireland with the protocol. I've seen what he's done on Brexit. I've seen what he's done on so many other issues. He's articulate, he's intelligent, he's fearless. So let's get Ben into a position where he can actually win an election for us.
That would be, for me, that would be ideal. I mean, look, guys, Danny and Andy, there has been a lot of bullying going on over the last few years. For years where Tommy's concerned. I mean, is it time now that I was thinking the other night, how important do you have to be? Just how important do you have to be to have the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition mention your name both in the same session of Parliament? Imagine how can I get the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition to talk about me in Parliament? It's incredible. It's incredible.
It made massive waves, Paul, hasn't he?
Well, if your message, Danny, if your message is so irrelevant, they wouldn't even think about you, let alone talk about you in Parliament.
There's a massive threat to them, isn't it? Because he's talking sense. He doesn't lie. They're making him out to be something in the media. They're all on board. They're all part to blame for this. We all know the situation with it, don't we? There's an awful lot of lies he's been on various TV shows. They've said to him at times, you're the R word, and he says, well, show me where, show me any time, just prove to me, and they can't. You just are.
Well, I think the
not
bottom
really
line,
winning the argument, is it?
No, I think the bottom line now is that, look, when you look at the people who they do give a voice to have their say, it's time. The time has come. The time has to have come when this man, if they're going to continue to persecute him in the way in which they've done, he has to have the right of reply, surely. I mean, even my worst enemy, I would want to see, or I'd want to allow to have the right to reply.
He's got to be able to defend himself, hasn't he?
The reality is, in the beginning, he was on Newsnight, he was on GMTV, he was on all these different chat shows, and he ran rings around the best supposedly best TV presenters in the country. Made Piers Morgan look like an absolute idiot. And I remember speaking to Tommy about that actual interview, and he said he'd hardly slept the night before. He'd had about 2 hours sleep or something, and he still went in and slapped Piers Morgan senseless.
And Jeremy Paxman, a veteran,
Paxman didn't know what to do with him. He's sharp, he's quick-witted, he's very, very intelligent. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, he's not a perfect man. Let's get it right. But what he is the figurehead of the British working class. It's as simple as that. You can't get away from that. And
Rich, he's very good because he don't have to worry about slipping up because he's telling the truth.
That's the whole point, and that
makes it massively different. If you're a liar, if you're a liar, you've got to watch your back all the time. You've got to think, when did I say that? But he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what he's talking about, he knows the facts. He's lived it. He knows what the government are doing. He knows about the threat that the nation faces from various different directions, and he's articulating in a way that everybody can understand, and that makes him extremely dangerous. And that's why they're trying to take him out of the picture. And it is state-sponsored bullying, and I will always stand against bullies. If I see bullying anywhere, I'm going to stand against it and call it out. So it's just in my DNA. So I think we all need to do that. And if everybody started doing that, well, very soon they wouldn't have a chance but to give him a platform. And we all know what he's facing on the 28th of October as well, which is again just insidious.
Andy, I mean, I take it you're a man that agrees with free speech, and I mean, do you believe in letting your opponents have their say?
I do. I mean, there's one thing I want to say. I'm reading a book at the moment, and I'm not going to tell you the name of the book because that'll tell you more than I really want to let on. But there's a very powerful chapter in it about the messages and influences we're surrounded by. And we all of us spend a lifetime surrounded by messages from the television, from the newspapers, from the adverts you see when you walk into a shop. And it's all drilling certain truths, their truths, into our head the whole time. You go and watch Channel 3, you watch BBC or anything like that. Tommy pops up. He's the R word. He runs an organisation that's been defunct for 10 years. He's the bad guy. He's nasty. And there are millions of people in this country, which is a massive problem, so much apathy, that still believe everything that comes out of that box.
Yeah.
And there's the likes of me, the likes of Paul, the likes of you two guys as well, that sit here and tell the bloody truth, the same as Tommy. And we'll sit here and keep doing it. And eventually they're going to realise this guy has the right of reply. We can't snuff him out and cancel him anymore. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see anyone denied the right of reply. Right, we've got a message here from Stephen Fredwell. He said, "Can you wish my dad a happy birthday? His name is Joe. I know he'll be watching and he's 82. Joe,
happy birthday,
Joe. Happy birthday,
cheers.
Joe. Look after yourself. Keep your chin up. Yeah, cheers, Joe. All the best." Bottle of water. Blimey, that's not much of a cheers, is it? Joe, have a lovely birthday, mate. Let's have a little look. Old School Pete says, "We just have a new Labour. It's a whole new normal, an increasingly inverted one at that." Pete the Feet, I can't read that one out, mate.
I'm tempted. I need to know.
Yeah, no, because he's suggesting he's doing a bit of a George Michael there. Yeah, okay, there's a few choice comments coming through there. Better be a bit careful with some of those. Good evening, Leah. Let's have a little listen now. I'll tell you what I have had in over the last few days. I've had quite a few people sending me in some voice notes. Let's have a little listen to one or two of those. This is the first one coming up.
Hi, Paul. I watch you on WhatsApp nearly every day. I think you're absolutely brilliant. I know the Labour government, they say the well-off pensioners shouldn't get the winter fuel allowance, but they've paid in for 40, 50 years their national insurance. So even if they don't need the money, they are still entitled to a payment. When you get all these immigrants coming over on boats, 4-star hotels, and get the lot, it's absolutely disgusting. Listen, mate, keep up the good work and I'll be following you. Thank you, Danny.
That's Danny. Let's have a listen to the next one.
Hi, Paul. My name is Steve, and been following you now for a while. I think you do some brilliant work, and you're kind of like a father figure to a lot of people, I think, out there, and very good at galvanising everyone together in this real uphill battle that we've got. I've been watching the Labour conference today, and it's just shocking what is coming out, and it seems to be a race to an Orwellian dystopia. I mean, I've read 1984, and I just never thought it would be possible, but it seems we're going that way. At the moment, I don't think even reform is the answer, but it's the best option. And I just hope that somehow something can change and something can give us some hope. I've signed the pledge, but like yourself, I think it wouldn't be long if I didn't have dependent family members before I want to leave the country. And on that note, good luck with your own choices. And do you have anywhere in mind as to where you're going that will be good for some people like us who just want to live in a country like ours used to be and just be happy and at peace? Cheers, mate. Keep up the good work.
Paul, what a sad message, isn't it?
Well, look, you know what? That's the. You know what? It is. You know, I mean, that's how a lot of people are feeling, Danny. You know, and it's. Yeah, the reason I play them. Sometimes I think, oh, you know what? Let's try and be more positive. Let's try and be more upbeat. But it's also just as important that other people understand that they're not the only ones that are feeling like that. Yeah. They're not alone. Because the feedback that I get, I mean, I've already made a decision this year. I'll tell you something in a minute. We've got 3,500 people watching almost. So give us a thumbs up, guys. We really appreciate that. This year, I've made my mind up that on Christmas Day, I'm going to do a big live stream. And the reason I'm going to do a big live stream on Christmas Day is to keep Richard out of the house. His wife's been on the phone. She said, please, Paul, can you do a live stream that lasts all day on Christmas Day?
Listen, we used to have a house full, 16 people in my 3-bedroom semi on Christmas Day. So I banned Christmas. So I'm a humbug. But no, I'm not doing a live stream with you on Christmas Day. Never in a million years, Paul. Much as
That's right, mate.
We ain't doing a live stream on Christmas Day. You know?
I will be doing a live stream on Christmas Day for our viewers.
I'll pop on. I'll pop on
exactly.
just for 5 minutes.
You know what? I'll probably end up on it myself, but I'm just saying. Just in case my wife's watching, I'm saying I'm not doing it.
This is a family channel, right? And on Christmas Day this year, we're going to have a family event. So no one is going to be on their own. Everyone's going to have somewhere to pop in. And I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Well,
because
in all seriousness, Christmas Day wouldn't be Christmas Day without Morecambe and Wise. So I think we've got to do it.
There you go. Who's Eric Morecambe? Who's got the short hairy legs? And oh dear, right. What else is going on here?
Laurel and Hardy.
You what, mate?
Could have been Laurel and Hardy.
Could have been Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy would have been more like it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Let's have a little look. Did I do this one? I think I did this one, didn't I? The government must be got rid of. Yeah, I did that one. I did that one, didn't I? Thank you. Defender 1968. Cheers. I heard the Israeli intelligence is so good they even know what shampoo that Herbalar leader was using. They found it.
Jesus.
I don't think there was that much. To be honest, I know that after they'd finished, there wasn't that much left of them.
Do you know what? I really should read these messages before I read them out, shouldn't I? Really? Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's have a look. Andy, so, I mean, like, for you, what is your biggest bugbear right now? If you could change one thing, what would it be? If you was in charge tomorrow?
I have a massive problem with all of it, to be honest with you. You know, I'm very much integrity. If you say you're going to do something or you're not going to do something, you bloody well do it. And we've sat here. I'm in reform. They don't use the word manifesto. They use the word contract with the people. Manifesto is a dirty word. We see so many examples over the years where they say, if we get in, we're going to do this. If we get in, we're going to look after them. If we get in, we're going to stop the boats. You know, and it never ever happens. Now, I think that if you get in on false pretenses, you
Yeah.
got a problem.
Yeah,
That's
said
my
this
biggest
before.
bugbear with the whole thing.
It should be
And
legally binding, shouldn't it, Andy?
yeah, exactly. We're stuck in this cycle because there's so many people that are so despondent with it all and don't come out and vote, and there's so much apathy there.
Yeah.
And what I said earlier about being exposed to things we're supposed to believe, like there's only two choices, Conservative and Labour. Crap. There's a lot more than that, and more people need to be shown. Otherwise, it's not going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Lee Anderson defected to Reform. He did indeed, obviously. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's just the sheer dishonesty of all of them, guys, right? I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter what colour badge they're wearing. They're just full of shit, and they all the time. It's just they can't lay in bed straight. They can never give you a straight answer. It's yet never a yes or no, or I hold my hands up, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I mean, if you really care about your country, instead of bickering and arguing, why don't they speak together? I mean, the best way to solve a problem for your nation is to get the best minds and the best brains behind the problem and get it sorted out. Now, if there's a person in the opposition who you think has a good idea or might be able to get things right, what's the problem with talking to that person, sorting it out? It's not like they're enemies in war. They're only sitting across both sides of the house. Then they're not the enemy as such, but that's the way they treat each other.
Are they there to represent us, or are they there to represent their party? If they're there to represent the party, there's the problem. You know, they're there to represent us, look after us, keep us safe, make sure all of our services work, not whether they're going to be opposition or in government in the next election. Is the whole political system the problem they're in? They're too worried about their own necks and what comes next, their career on Dancing on Ice, where some of them turn up,
Yeah, exactly. Essex Submariner says, why are you slagging her off? She stood up to Starmer. I don't think anyone's slagging her off. I'm saying I think she should call them, she should resign and go back to the voters now. Because Andy said that vote that she got, were they voting for her or were they voting for the Labour Party? I think that probably the vast majority were voting for the Labour Party. So therefore, really, if she's going to resign, she should do it properly, and there should be a by-election. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. I actually think that she probably will in the end, but we will see. The king cannot step in. That is why the remedy was left to the people in perpetuity to take the country back lawfully and peacefully. The king can dissolve parliament, though, right?
It's massively
under extreme circumstances. It's never happened.
I think that's never going to happen either. There's
No.
just no way it's not going to happen. The only way we're going to listen. The reality is, Paul, right? The truth of the matter is about this. The only way we're going to get rid of this lot is by uniting everybody under one ideology, right? And then that ideology gets behind one party, and that's what the pledge is about. The only way we're going to win this, and because the reality is, and Andy, I think it's great being in Reform. I mean, you've got to join a political party, you've got to get involved. But the truth of the matter is, we can't trust them. I can't trust UKIP. You can't trust Reform. We can't trust the Conservatives. We don't know what their deep agenda is. So that's why we built the pledge, wrote the pledge, whatever you want to call it. And that calls them all to account. It calls every single political party to account. And if they don't sign up to what it's about, then why should we give them any support? And I think that's a really important. We've got to keep hammering that home.
Yeah.
The pledge sits above everything. It sits above all political parties. It's the ideology that we believe, and it's very, very well put. And then the political parties, they have to get on board and say, yes, we believe that. And if they don't get a vote, whether it's Reform, UKIP, or Conservatives. The rest of them are a waste of time anyway.
Yeah, and if you haven't signed the pledge, the address is at the bottom of the page there, running across. David Crosby, lookalikes today. Andy, Phil Silvers, Paul, Cat Weasel. God, blimey, I've drawn a short straw there, and I Cat Weasel. Danny Beetlejuice, Richard
I don't know if you have
Jean-Claude
called.
Van Damme.
Oh,
I don't know if you pulled the short straw I have.
Sorry, guys. Great. Paul, just say that last one again.
Richard Jean-Claude Van Damme. Blimey.
Unfortunately, in the Coors Light adverts, not his films in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Was Phil Silver's Sergeant Bilko?
He was indeed. He was.
Oh my God!
Peter 234 with the most
Easy, Paul. Easy.
Listen, I think Starmer has proven he is a receiver and not a giver, and he has certainly been receiving a lot of gifts, and he's not been giving many out.
I had to bite my tongue then.
I'm not going to let it come out, Paul. I'm not going to.
No, I've got something there as well. But let's just move along.
Don't say it, Richard. Stop.
Jack Wobbly, Crimbo live streaming fancy dress.
It will be.
Yeah. Epic 2000, appreciate that. Thank you very much. The US is a patriotic rapper, Tom McDonald. This movement needs the arts on board to engage new and probably younger audiences. Are we reaching out to the UK rapper artists? What about Mr. Brainwash? It's actually a good point, to be fair. The trouble is, when you're young, you don't tend to do a lot of thinking about politics. That's the problem.
Well, do you know we nearly had Right Said Fred for the last event.
Really?
Yeah. But Keir Starmer had them booked, so they'd have been double booked. They couldn't come.
Claire Bear, she says, thank you, Claire. Do a Halloween live stream, please. God, blimey, I wouldn't have to put a lot of makeup on, would I?
It's a day after the blooming budget as well, isn't it? We won't be able to afford a costume, will we?
Richard would have to tidy himself up for a Halloween one.
Listen, I'm the muscles from Brussels. That's all I'm saying.
We'll all look horrified. We won't need a costume.
Andrew, thank you. Hi, Paul. Watch UK column news. Will do. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. What would you change, Richard? If you could change one thing tomorrow, what would it be?
The government.
No, I mean, if you was in charge of one policy,
get Ben Habib in as Prime Minister, and he can just pick his team. Then get Ben in, we need to. If we could wave a magic wand, we need to get rid of this lot out of power. We're not going to get it for 5 years, but that's why we've got to keep building, doing what we're doing the pledge, doing the political parties, find out which one's going to be the best one, which one's going to be the strongest, and just keep chugging on.
I know you've rejoined UKIP this week. Do you see a place?
It was way back. It was 14th of August, but yeah.
Okay. Do you see a place for Ben in UKIP, or do you still see him going back to Reform?
I'd love to see him come to UKIP, because I think, and people talk about, people say, "Oh, Richard, you're splitting the vote." They don't. That's not what I'm doing, because what will happen is, if we get to a stage where, let's say, UKIP was very strong and Reform was very strong, there would have to be either some sort of alliance, or one would have to really give way to the other in some way, shape, or form. But what it would stop is what seems to me to be a very dictatorial way of running UKIP. Even with this supposed democratization, it seems Zia Youssef has massive influence, Tice and Farage. Obviously, they're the leaders, so they would have influence. But UKIP seems to be a lot more democratic. It's got the NEC. It's got, it's going to have a lot of spokesmen on multiple issues. So I like the UKIP model. Now, is it going to work? Time will tell. It's like you've got to pick a horse and you've got to go with it. So I think we don't want to be doing all this a year before the general election. If we're moving and shaking and trying to get things in place, we've got to do it now. And that's why I'm going with UKIP. Because the other thing is, Paul, let's just get it right. I'm not allowed to join Reform because I was in the Reform party.
Well, that's that. Yeah, Richard, that is the thing at the moment. I mean, someone jokingly said to me yesterday, "Oh, Paul, would you stand as a Reform candidate in the general election or the count?" I can't. I'm banned.
Me too.
So I can't. I mean, as much as I've been supporting Reform, and this is a ridiculous part. It's even more ridiculous when Reform were inviting me to their pre-election meetings, and I can't even join their party.
It's crazy. And
it's a bit weird, really.
And it needs to be addressed, Paul. And that's not saying that Reform can never be the party. If it has to make quite a few, they're not really fundamental changes, actually. Being accommodating to Tommy and people like Katie and real patriots, That's not a massive fundamental change. Letting people. Here's the thing, Paul. As far as I know, you've no criminal record. I've no criminal record, right? You know, we both lived good lives. We both worked hard, paid all our taxes, and yet we can't join reform. But well, you know, Mohammed from Somalia, who's just got off the boat 3 years ago, got himself a passport. He better join reform.
Yeah,
the game's not straight, to be honest with you. You know, and that's what annoys me about it. And yeah, so, and I, like I say, I'm not going to dig them out because I think what they've done is fantastic. But there are those issues that absolutely must be addressed if there's going to be any, if they're going to win a general election. They need to appeal to the British working class. And if you alienate Tommy or Katie or any of the sort of very popular patriots of the British working class, you're not going to win a general election. That's my opinion.
Libel says Ben Habib clearly has not got his glasses from Lord Waleed, as his frame is not glistening with gold particles, unlike the specks of Barmy Starmy. Where do you stand, Andy, politically? I mean, where are you right now?
I come from a conservative voting family. It's funny you mentioned kids earlier, and they don't really think a lot about stuff. When I think it was 18, it was the first time I could legally vote. I voted Tory because my mum and dad didn't know anything else. And then life happens. And I got to a point, I thought they're all lying toe rags. And, you know, because of that, I'm disenfranchised. I'm looking for an answer. You know, what I believe I want to see happen and the reality of what will and could happen with what we've got are two different things. But I want somebody to show me some honesty. I want somebody to show me they give a shit about the British voting public. I want somebody to make me secure in my own country again. I want somebody to put police back on the streets. Is that reform? Is it UKIP? It's certainly not that lot we've got in there at the moment, any of them. And they need to go. So right now, I'm kind of reform politically homeless, somewhere in the middle. I mean, if you go back and do research on, you know, back to like the early 1700s, around the time of the Acts of Union, and look at how Parliament was a smaller, more manageable affair with, you know, community leaders and things like that who were actually there for the benefit of the people they represent and voting on matters that really need sorting out. And then roll forward 300 years and look at the shit shower we've got now. What a contrast. We need more people to see this. We need more people to come out and change it.
Did anyone see Katie Hopkins' latest video about Keir Starmer? Did you see it?
Yeah. Me and my missus were laughing our heads off.
It reminded me of one of Liam Tubbs' videos.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen Katie's latest video on Keir Starmer, I mean, just go and have a look for yourself, honestly. She's a girl, isn't she?
That's the funniest one I've ever seen her do. That was absolutely hilarious. You know?
Oh, she smashed it with that one. But no, look, I mean, this is the thing. The thing is, Andy, is that, you know, that I tend to edge towards reform, not because I'm a massive Nigel fan, but I do genuinely think that they probably represent our best hope. But you know, like Richard's just said, I can't even join. So, you know, it's like, you know, Fulham's my football club. But if they ban me from going, they'd still be my football club, but I wouldn't be very happy. You know, I wouldn't be pleased. I wouldn't be shouting from the rooftops. So, you know, when and if reform come to me and say, Paul, we'd love to have you as a member, then I'll happily join. But that's the way it is. Because apparently, you know, because I joined For Britain, Anne-Marie Walters' party some years ago, just on the back of supporting the girl, really, because I think she's very brave.
Yeah.
You know, I'm banned. I mean, what's all that about? Absolute nonsense, really, you know. But look, I get what they've been trying to do. It's all about sending a message, but they've got to be braver than that. They've got to do what, you know. That's why Ben needs to be back in there so that he can put the record straight and put it right and unite everyone.
If they change that, Paul, if they change those two policies, one, you know, the sort of outright ban on engaging with Tommy and letting Tommy join, and also the thing on For Britain. Now, I understand why Farage put the thing on the BNP National Front. I agree with them on that. I wouldn't want people who are outright Nazis, fascists, racists, anti-Semites in a political party I was associated with. And in fact, I'd do anything I could to get them out. So I understand the logic behind it. But I think there's two things. You can deal with that in a couple of different ways. You can make people sign a document like the pledge, which means they disavow all those things. So if they then, because people change their minds. You might have some young kid who's 18, 19, joined the BNP in the 1990s, didn't really know what it's about. And that means he can, according to reform, he can never be involved in political life as long as he lives. It's crazy.
Well, look, I'll go even further than that, Richard. Look, at the end of the day, everyone in this country has the right to vote, right? Everyone that's, as long as you're not in prison, etc. If you're free and you have the right to vote. Just because you have had certain beliefs, or even if you still have certain beliefs, whether they're on the far left or the far right, that doesn't mean to say that you should be banned from having a vote or belonging to a political party. That is not democracy. That is not true freedom. Now, there are plenty of people. I've used this analogy before. So what do the big football clubs do? Do they go through their list of season ticket holders and say, well, you got done for drunk driving once. You can't come and watch. You went to jail once for whatever. You can't come and watch the football. Or, you can't ban people from belonging to a political party because of their beliefs, because that doesn't stop them from voting for you.
Exactly.
And unless you're an out-and-out wrong. I mean, you don't want Jimmy Savile joining your party, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Paul, I mean, it's even more fundamental than that, because what you were talking about there was criminal offences that people have been convicted for that could debar them from all walks of life. But you, as far as I know, I've certainly no criminal record. You know, criminal record.
No.
So why on earth are we banned from joining a political party? We've never committed any criminal offence. We might have strong opinions on certain matters, like radical Islam or whatever it is. But that should be something that should be welcomed in, so you can have debate within a political party. So I think it's absolutely wrong to have that. And if they got rid of that and worked out a better way of doing it, it's a lazy way of doing it, Paul. It's just lazy.
Yeah.
You were in this political party once, so you're never going to join. It's very easy. And look at all the headbangers they had standing in the last election that turned out to be racist and
all political parties, the headbangers get through,
Exactly.
Guys, look, I've got a really good one coming up soon. I have a serving police officer from Greater Manchester Police who is going to be brave enough to come on this show. He won't be able to show his face, but he will be offering his opinions and his views. They won't necessarily represent those of the police force that he works for, but he will be coming on the show soon to tell us a few things, which is going to be extremely interesting. We note that there was a big attack in Germany yesterday, I believe, that has been completely ignored by the mainstream media. Not a single mention that I could find on the BBC website. That's a big one out there in Germany again. And we also hear that Labour will be going after the pensioners' pensions in the budget now. Wow.
Well, they've got to get rid of this 22 billion pound deficit that they've inherited from the Tories. So they keep bleating on about, although most of it's to do with their decision, Labour's decision to give pay rises to the public sector and train drivers. But forget that little bit. Let's just ignore that. But let's just go back. Let's just go back in time. It's come to light now that Gordon Brown's decision to sell over half of the UK's gold reserves between 1999 and 2002, at an average price of $276 per ounce, which is now at a record high. It's almost 10 times that. It's actually now, well, the other day it was $2,686 an ounce. He sold 395 tonnes, which worked out in the end to be the rock bottom price. Had he sold that nowadays, or had the Labour Party had sold that nowadays, they would have recouped $30 billion of losses, which, funny enough, is £22 billion.
Wow.
But this is Rachel Reeves, which is what you know. She said she's inherited this from the Tory party. Their little bad decision all them years ago would have covered that black hole.
Danny, what year did you say that sell-off started?
1999 to 2002. Over a 3-year period, they sold 395 tons.
So let me tell you something here. Let me tell you something here. In the year 2000, which, and I remember it very, very well indeed, a lot of friends, including myself, in the watch and jewellery business, were telling each other that this was a good time to buy gold.
Because it was so low.
Because it was so low.
So
and
why?
What does our Chancellor of the Exchequer do?
Yep.
Sell it.
And that's exactly where it would have been worth 10 times, almost $276 an ounce. So that is pure gold. Remember, this isn't 9 carat gold. We're talking 999. We're talking 24 carat
24
gold.
carat, yeah.
Right? $276 an ounce. So you could have bought a Britannia for $276.
Yeah. Well, there's a simple boy from South London who found his way into the watch and jewellery business.
I knew that
back in the year 2000. All of my friends in the watch and jewellery business were saying, buy gold, it's going to be going up. And
gold and
we,
brown,
as a nation, flogs half.
Over half.
Yeah.
395 tons of it. Wouldn't you like to have bought that back then?
Absolutely.
And I think it went to the Chinese, most of it.
Yes, it did, because they were adding, and they still are. They still are adding to
They were doing the right thing. They were doing the right thing.
Well, there you go. There's our fantastic Labour previous governments. You know, yeah.
Another little story I want to cover tonight is this guy. We all know who this guy is. And it says medics who treated psychotic Valdo Calacane have blood on their hands, say the victim's family. Now, I want to say this is absolutely nothing to do with this gentleman's colour, background. This is about the mental health service letting the British people down again. But more importantly, probably, is this from the BBC documentary on Nottingham knife rampage killer Valdo Calacane is branded shameful by grieving families of victims who say the Panorama show made their trauma 1,000,000 times worse. What is going on with the BBC? What is going on with those people? They just cannot get it right, can they? And what they were saying is that the warning signs with this guy were there for a very, very, very long time. And Andy, I tell you now, I know quite a few police officers and one or two in the Brighton area. They tell me that one of their biggest problems is not crime, it's the fact that they have to act as mental health nurses as well as law enforcement officers. I mean, we've got to start putting this right as well, haven't we?
Yeah, well, when I look at crime, I mean, my dad's a retired police officer. He did, between the army, military police and the police, he did nearly 30 years. And he is very, very old school. He retired mid to late 90s in the end. And I'm always talking to him about this stuff. And, you know, you get these individuals going on a rampage with these, well, bloody great implements causing all kinds of harm to all kinds of people. And I asked 2 questions. Number one, how are they so easily walking around the streets with these things stuffed up their jumper without any approach?
Yeah.
Is the knife the R word? I won't say it just in case you get in trouble. Or is there something else going on? Whatever happened to stop and search? And if these people have got any intentions like this, where's the deterrent? Where's the harsh punishment? You know, what's putting people off doing it themselves? It's just not there. I mean, you get people coming into this country through all routes, the Channel, and you know, and that's equally responsible also. But again, where is the deterrent? Never mind mental health and all. A crime's been committed. Somebody's died or been seriously injured. The police's job is to prevent crime from happening, and it's just completely disappeared. It's prevent it or speak nicely to them once it's happened. Where's the punishment? It's a joke.
We're seeing a never-ending stream of TikTok videos and video posts on X where the police seem to be struggling physically with perpetrators. Is there something wrong with the police's current method of recruitment?
I think so. I mean, back in the day in Northern Ireland, if you wanted to join the RUC as it was, I think you had to be over 6 foot, because that was probably back in the 80s. But, the reality is a 5'2" girl is not going to be as effective as a 6'2", 18 stone, muscle bound Bobby, and I think the reality is that physicality is a massive deterrent. If you're starting to get a bit leery with a policewoman, and then the guy that's on patrol with walks around the corner, he's 6'2" and 18 stone, you're probably going to think twice about hitting that policewoman. But the reality is, and this is going to sound really sexist, but should policewomen be doing certain jobs like public order and very, very violent situations? Because the reality is women are not as physically strong and robust as men. They may think they are, but they're not. Some are very strong and very robust, but the majority wouldn't be. And I think that's a problem. And then there was footage the other day. I saw one where this guy had been laid out. I don't know what had happened to him. This cop had been laid out. And he didn't look like he'd been really badly hurt. He was just kind of lying there as if he'd given up the fight. You know what I mean? And so I think there's definitely issues there. You don't need university educated people to be standing on a baseline, riot baseline with a shield and a baton.
Well, you have to have a university degree now to become a police officer.
That's what I mean. See,
Paul, just going by Spain compared to the UK, you've got like Adrian Mole characters in the UK now. They're like 3'7" with little glasses, and I'm not saying that but when years and years ago, you had to have good eyesight to get in the police without the glasses. Because obviously, if your glasses get knocked off in a scuffle, you've got to be able to still be able to identify people and stuff like that. And that was one of the criterias many years ago, that you had to have 20/20 vision. And if you didn't have, that was a strike-off. You couldn't become a police officer. And I think, Rich, it was in the UK as well. You used to have to be over 6 foot. Yeah. See, out here in Spain, they're all lumps out here. They all go down the gym. I box with quite a few old Bill. I've got some really good friends of mine, are police officers in the local town, Guardia and all that lot. And they're all, they keep themselves, they look after themselves.
Danny's being modest. He teaches them how to box.
Well, I do have a punch up with them, but you can't. That's great, and I can have a punch up with the old Bill and get away with it. No, I'm joking. They're really good people, and I socialise with them outside as well. I'm going out coffee with one of my pals who's a copper in the town tomorrow morning. But they're all, and not only that, they're not only big lumps. They've all got a shooter. They've all got the pepper spray gun with the laser sight and all that lot on it. They're proper equipped. They've got the truncheon. And everything else. In the UK, there's no respect for the police.
Danny, steady up, Danny. I might have to swerve Spain the way you're going.
I'll tell you what, mate. Do nothing wrong and you don't have a problem.
There's one other observation I want to make about law enforcement, and I'll give 2 examples. Is when they decide to do their damn job and arrest somebody or tussle with somebody, how are they treated in the aftermath? I'll cite 2 examples. The obvious is Manchester. What the hell's going on there with the airport?
Nothing still.
What happened exactly? And also, if we cross the pond to America, now I'll look at New York specifically. If a New York Police Department copper, we'll call them, we'll use a British term, decides to arrest somebody, if they're not cooperative and the police officer gets them on the floor, one of the things when you get someone on the floor, you put your bloody knee in their back and lean on them. They don't move then. If a police officer did that in America now, they could be arrested and charged with a misdemeanor offence for doing their job. So why the hell what's the point in doing the job if we're not allowed to? That's another problem as well.
Absolutely, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, And I think the other thing on the crime side of things and mental, specifically mental health, a lot of this is driven by drug misuse. By smoking very, very powerful cannabis. A lot of people become schizophrenics by smoking skunk and taking all sorts of weird, crazy drugs, and that's that's never talked about. That people are actually melting their brains and becoming crazy people because of what they smoked or what they've taken. And you know, if you looked at the stats of how many people have been affected by narcotics, it would be off the chart. And again, you know, you've got people talking about legalizing drugs and all this sort of stuff. You know, so there are big issues, and of course, the other big issue with crime is alcohol misuse. So you know, we all like to drink.
There is absolutely, in the UK, and I'm going to say this because I've had recent experience with it from a family member, there is absolutely no help out there for addiction. I'm talking about drug addiction. I'm not personally talking about drug addiction. I'm talking about alcohol addiction.
Yeah.
And it's been to a point that we've lost his family member now. Because there was absolutely no hope there, no help whatsoever. The NHS, as we know, is broken, and I believe no matter how much money you throw at it, it's only a matter of time. It's designed many years ago, and it doesn't fit where we are now. It needs to be completely revamped.
Ali, thank you very much. Any chance of a Christmas calendar, boys? Cool, that would be a bestseller, wouldn't it? Eh? Dear
it would only get till April, though.
Weedy Bear, thank you so much. I think Ben Habib is an awesome communicator, but he's lost his seat in Wellingborough. That's why he couldn't stay in the top positions. Thank you very much, Joe.
Can we just go on that, Paul? He didn't lose a seat in Wellingborough at all. He didn't win a seat. He didn't lose.
Yeah, he didn't lose. He didn't win it. Yeah,
he wasn't an MP in Wellingborough.
Yeah. Neil Turner, thank you. I watched 2 interviews. One with TR, talked about the English girls, and Rory Stewart talked about Afghan and African girls. Politicians are globalists. Totally. Fuzzbin, thank you. Hey up, crew. White shirt Ben here. How you doing, Ben? You all right? Talking about the police. Do we get to the point where we ask the police, what do you need, regarding them being helpless against Labour's decision to now a possibility? I mean, I think the thing with the police that I see here in Brighton, just being honest with you, right, is that they're just not up for the job. And I don't mean that mentally. They might be great, but I'm trying to remain polite. How can I say this? They look like children physically.
Yeah.
They look like children.
Seen it here. You
know, and I'm cracking on a bit now. So, I mean, you know, Danny's looking quite young to me, but no, you know, they look like teenagers. And they're probably not much out of their teenage years. I would imagine some of them are in their early 20s, very early 20s. And if you was they're not someone that you would necessarily think are going to be able to defend themselves in the way in which you'd like them. I'm trying to word this sensibly. You can probably guess what I'm thinking, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, why they're recruiting like that, I don't know. I mean, you cannot become a copper now if you come out of the armed forces and you're 6'2", you've done 2 tours in Afghanistan, you've had the Taliban shooting at you, you know, that's no good. That don't qualify you anymore. You've got to have a degree. And a degree in what as well?
Exactly, and that's a big problem, because to me, a lot of policing is common sense, and the best coppers that you ever see are the ones that actually act with common sense, not necessarily totally to the rule book. You know, they know when to let something slide, they know when to come down hard on someone, they know when someone's taking the mick, and they know when someone's been straight with them. And that you can only learn that on the street, or you can only if you're brought up on the street, you'll know that. But if you're brought up and you've never had a fight in the schoolyard, and you've literally been, you know, wrapped in cotton wool until you've got to 24, 25 years old, and then you get dropped into the police force. I don't think it's the ideal recruiting ground.
Here's the thing. Has anyone seen that video of Keir Starmer punching that punch bag?
No. Have you got it, have you? I'd like to see that. You haven't got it.
Have you got it?
I haven't got it. I haven't got it. I'll begin it for the next live. But I've got to tell you, what it tells, I think what it will tell most men that have been brought up in a working class environment, gone to a regular school, what that tells you is this bloke's never opened a bag of crisps for himself.
Oh, Paul, can't you find it and just put it on?
Oh, Daddy.
I mean, you've got it. Can't you grab it quick and just put it on the screen? Yeah,
well, you carry on chatting and I'll try and find it.
YouTube it, Paul, because
go on. Let Andy have a bit of a say. He's not.
Andy,
Put it this way, Danny, you definitely did not teach that man to box. That's for sure.
I really want to see this now. Now
I mean, I can't believe that he would let anyone put that out.
Well, I mean, the thing was, he actually did it as if he thought he'd actually done really well. And you look at it and you just go, you know.
I've got to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to see this.
That's what I said. I would fancy my chance in a white collar boxing match with two tier queer.
It's these tops trying to fit in with the general public, isn't it? And they haven't got a ruddy clue, any of them. It's just
no, they don't have a clue. They just. But the problem is they've got huge amounts of power. I mean, you know, I worry about them with foreign policy. I mean, you know, you look at David Lammy in charge of.
Oh Jesus!
Foreign policy.
Have you started digging your bomb shelter yet?
Well, we're going to need to. We're going to need to because I mean, everyone thinks Putin's messing about when he's saying he's going to use nuclear weapons. Is that a chance we actually want to take? What we want to take?
No.
Russian roulette with cruise missiles. I don't really fancy my chances.
And it's David Lammy, the man we want talking him out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you believe that?
Oh shit!
David Lammy, the love child of Idi Amin and Diane Abbott.
God. Well, that's.
I was going anyway, Paul.
Now, Richard, I'll be seeing you in the morning, won't I? Can we give that away?
Yeah, that's right. I am going to shoot off here, guys. I just want to get that one line. But I'm going to go because I've got to go and iron my shirt.
You got a shirt to iron, have you? Am I going to see you in a shirt tomorrow?
I have got a shirt, but I'm not sure if it fits anymore.
Richard and I have a very important meeting in Westminster tomorrow, believe it or not, don't we, Richard? We do. We're going to see someone very important.
We are.
More important than me and Richard put together.
Well, I'm not sure about that, Paul.
Richard's flying in from Northern Ireland in the morning.
Rich, how long are you staying for?
In and out in the day, mate. I'll be.
Oh, okay, mate.
All being well. I've got the red eye out and I've got the red eye back, so I'll be staggering to the house, not drunk, staggering to the house, exhausted, probably about midnight or 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's all right. I'm back in a few days, so yeah.
Yeah, no,
I mean, just left.
You know well, there's whole sorts of stuff we're going to do, but we're not doing now. So this is a really important meeting, and I think it could be really, really good for what we're trying to do, Paul. Really
absolutely.
Good.
This is.
And I am going to shoot off because I've got to do what I've got to do and get myself sorted out because I've got nothing ready because I've had one of those horrendous days dealing with rubbish in the movement.
No problem, mate. I'll see you in the morning, Richard. Have a good evening, mate.
See you in the morning, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye, mate.
Let's get rid of Richard and we'll put that on to, there we go. 1 second. That's not my favourite one because that's too much of me. That's a bit better. This is an important one. Any suggestions for hate mail harassment as a far right of centre? Not far right. Any suggestions for hate mail harassment as a right of centre new YouTuber? I can handle it, but it isn't fair on family members. Many thanks, Damien. I mean, Damien, look, we all get plenty of that. My advice to you, my friend, would be just completely and utterly ignore it. These people that write that stuff, you know, if you get to see them, they're usually fat and balding and slobby and sitting behind a computer at home.
What's wrong with that?
Stuffing another donut in their mouth as they're writing. So
from there up,
yeah, just ignore it, mate. Don't let it bother you, Damien. It's all nonsense. Andy, what you got planned for your channel in the future? Because whenever I watch yours, you know, you're always walking down the street or whatever, or you're in your garage. Do you plan to, get this even more serious? Would you consider like a studio or full time? Would you go full time? Do you think you'd ever go full time?
It's possible. I mean, last year, for example, where my business goes really quiet from about October through to January, everyone's had their holidays and that's it. And because of what YouTube has done, I was able to keep my other drivers in work. And I, at the end of last year, and I could just take a step back from it. And that was really great because I could put food on their table and still put food on mine. and I hope this year again, and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's marvellous. As for a studio, I don't know. I mean, this has been my studio for, well, 3 or 4 years off and on.
Yeah.
It's just however it comes.
However it evolves.
Yeah, but I continue to do more of the same. I see something on the news, and I think you need an alternative view on it, or something that's not been seen on the news. I'll bring it to you. You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I've got to 103,000, nearly 104,000 subscribers now. I never thought that had happened in a million years. A couple of years.
No, I think people want to hear from just ordinary people in the street talking about that. Let's have a listen to a couple more people that have sent in voice messages.
Hello, Paul. Sorry, I've deleted my voice messages. I want to echo what the lady said from Yorkshire. I was born into an England which appears not to no longer exist. I applaud you and so many others, men and women who are standing up for Britain. I think of that poor pensioners, women being arrested for just observing, just observing and being arrested. I think of so many things. I think of what's happening to our police. We're becoming the laughing stock of so many countries. Very briefly, I'm mixed race. My father was Jamaican. My mother was English. I was born in England. I've got a different situation going on because of whatever. But I just applaud what you're doing. Good on you. Take care. God bless you. Bye.
Hi, Paul. Just wanted to say I love what you're doing. Good work. I grew up in London, born in London, but I'm now living in Ireland. So I'm seeing the problem in both countries with such a lefty government over here. It's unreal. A few of us trying to get together over here now and try and unite everyone with the UK. It's not always easy. People have disagreements, but we're getting there. There's a bit of a movement going on. Anyway, just want to say thanks for all you do. Bye.
Just playing a couple more, guys. 1 sec.
Hi, Paul. Just a quickie on the old burqa, the full face thingy. I think it should be banned everywhere, personally. You don't know who's underneath that. It could be a man, could be carrying weapons, anything. Should be banned totally. Thanks.
And the last voice message for tonight.
Hiya, Paul. I just got something to say. I thought this might be a good message that might be able to appear on one of your future live streams or videos. How I feel about it is that I think the left wing are being played. I really do. I think this is what all boils down to. I think, like what Richard Inman says, there's three enemies: the globalists, the religious nutcases, and the hard left. Yeah, the sort of delusional hard left that, they believe they can't be wrong in anything. And this is the thing: the hard left are being played by the globalists and the religious nutcases. One community in particular, but others as well. And they're taking advantage of the hard left's kindness, their tolerance, so-called kindness. I say that in inverted commas because we all know about bloody hopelessness and hate. We all know that, don't we? But yeah, I mean, the harder left are being played. They think they're the good guys in all this, but that's their downfall. The fact that their tolerance levels are being taken advantage of by the people above Keir Starmer. Okay, so the globalists, the religious nutcases, the WEF, all of that.
I think he's got a point there. I think the those on the left are being used as useful idiots by some people. I would definitely agree with that. I've got a video to play as well, just a quick one.
Hi, Paul and fellow patriots. My name is Barry. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to Paul for everything that you do, and not just what you do, but the way you do it. I wholeheartedly support you. But I do have a couple of questions. First one is, do you believe that Nigel will ever do anything other than condemn Tommy and his supporters? Because I don't, if I'm honest. And the second question is, it's a hypothetical one. If Ben Habib was to become the leader of UKIP, would you be more likely to support UKIP rather than Reform? Thank you.
Great questions, those last two. I'll answer them because obviously those questions were aimed for me. Do I think Nigel will ever publicly back Tommy? No.
No, neither do I.
Would I be more likely to support UKIP if Ben Habib was to become leader of UKIP? Yes, is the honest answer to that question.
So would I.
I think Ben's got much more about him personally. But we'll see. I mean, like he says, it's a hypothetical question, really. But yeah, I mean, look, I really want Nigel to succeed. I really want him to. I'd love to see him become our next Prime Minister. But at the moment, for me, they're just looking a little bit too much like Tory Party Mark II.
Paul, let's just get it right. The pledge, which is going on down the bottom there, to sign the pledge we've got time now. So sign up to the pledge as soon as you can. We've then got time to work out whether it's UKIP, whether it's Reform, see where they go, see what they do over the next, short to mid-term period of time. And then we can all decide collectively where we're going to lend the support, right? And then if we can all, if we get, I don't know, Richard seems to think we're going to get many people do it. Let's say we get 5 million people sign the pledge. That's an awful lot of clout to a certain political party. As long as they're towing the line, what they're saying in their manifestos are held accountable, then we've got a lot to offer that, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea of signing the pledge now. I mean, it takes 30 seconds or less than that to sign it. And yeah, it's long term, this could be a massive thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think the, I mean, Andy, where do you see us in 5 years, mate? Where do you see us in 5 years?
It all depends how many people we can turn round to the fact that what we've got is no good. It all depends on the people.
The message.
That's it. Well, what worries me is when, say, Nigel stands up and say, I don't want anything to do with Tommy Robinson. That's directed at Tommy Robinson, but the media takes that and runs with it. And then how many supporters of Tommy Robinson that can potentially vote for Reform, or dare I say it, if there was a sudden turnaround, UKIP, have they just alienated with that one simple thing? It's all about the people. We've got to look at the whole bigger picture and not believe the crap that comes out that little box in front of our living room. We've got two ways this is going to go. The establishment is going to fall to pieces and we bring in a new, or we're going to get another 5 years of the same and another 5 years of the same. It is all down to the people, in my view, and what we can do to help them find their way to that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Andy. And that is why channels like ours, I think, are so important. I mean, how many people watching right now have maybe had their eyes opened by watching channels like ours? And I'll give them another shout out. I mean, I met a young lad from Wolverhampton the other day, Mike Singh. His channel is, Drain the Hate. If you haven't already subscribed to Mike's channel, please do so. But there's a young man that's come out. He's doing the right thing, promoting harmony, and opening people's eyes. And everyone from all communities have got to do this, because otherwise we're continually bloody sheep or we're the lions that are being led by sheep, and we got to try and turn that around.
Yeah,
and that's why I believe the pledge is so important.
The only beautiful thing at the moment that's going on in the politics at the moment is the government that we've got, is they do seem to be internally destroying themselves already in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more to come over the next 3 to 6 months. I think there's going to be an awful... Who knows? Will they last a full term? I hope not, but who knows?
Well, there's the thing. I think that you can see the mood of the media right now. The mood of the media seems to be that they've got their teeth into Starmer and his cronies. And it doesn't look to me like they're going to be letting go anytime soon.
No.
Agreed.
And thank goodness for that, because, you know, if the mainstream media are going after him, then he must be bad. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Right, gentlemen. Any final thoughts before we go, Andy? It's been great having you on, mate.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Great to come on here and chat with you about like-minded stuff. And I just hope, I can't see how many people are watching tonight, but you know, that we get the message out. And the main thing is, don't give up hope. There's always hope.
Hi, John from Stoke. 3,579 people currently watching as we come to an end. David Crosby, Beetlejuice. Thank you very much. Danny, final thoughts for this evening before you go off into your air-conditioned boudoir?
No, I've not got the aircon, just the fans on tonight, mate. It is actually lovely. No, I've got, you know what, we've said everything we need to say today, haven't we? You know, just everyone sign the pledge, give you a thumbs up. We've got to try and get the channel moving in the right direction again. I've noticed the subscribers have been picking up again, Paul, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like a big notice that's really changed. So, you know, hopefully, you know, the sort of damage that was done when you decided to sort of calm things down a little bit will be reversed now, and we can all move back on and make a difference. That's the plan.
So if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do so. It's absolutely free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to do the same over Andy the Cabby's channel as well. Make sure you get Andy up as high as you can on the old, 100,000, Andy. I know what it's like to try and get there. It's tough. So it's a big achievement.
Have you got your plaque now, Andy?
Oh, don't. I went to apply for that, and it come up and said, right, you can have a silver plaque, and then right underneath it said, there's a problem, please contact us. I thought, what? And I contacted YouTube, and apparently there's a backlog of requests for silver plaques, which they're working through. So I've got to wait my turn. I got an email off my YouTube partner manager about another thing. I said, never mind that. I want my silver plaque. And I'm assured that she's working on it. But as soon as it comes, I'll be sitting there in the video saying, look, I got it.
Can't wait to see it, mate. And Paul, my next episode on Channel 5's tomorrow.
So if you want to catch Danny on Channel 5, Bargain Brits aboard.
Don't.
Channel 5 tomorrow. Is it a bad one, Danny?
I don't know, to be fair. I think it's a bit of boxing, a bit of go-karting, a bit of swimming. I can't even remember. I think we go to Soapy's restaurant. I can't remember. Do you know what? We've filmed so many with them, and they've messaged me now. They want to do a load more filming as of next month. So, yeah, here we go again.
Well,
Crazy.
magnificent. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really, really appreciate it. And we will see you again soon. Have a lovely rest of the weekend. Don't work too hard at work this week, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great evening, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.